It's also observed that the debt toll is rising. Even in this budget, it's taken about 1/3 of the total budget. So what impact has this on the economic recovery plan?
That is why we're driving up revenues. We don't have a debt problem. What we have is a revenue problem. We don't have enough revenues. And so that is why once you have enough revenues, the debt level that we have right now is definitely will be seen by most countries as very small, a very low net debt level, once you have enough revenues. When you look at our overall GDP, and as I indicated, 6%, our collection is about 6% of GDP. Assuming our collection became 10% of GDP, you can see the massive increase in revenues, and that will now make our debt seem quite small.
Now, unemployment is really, really biting hard. So, is there going to be any reprieve from this budget? Is there any winning template to address the unemployment in this country in the immediate term?
Oh yes, there certainly is. I spoke about the labs. That the investment there, we will be looking at investments that can create jobs. That is a major issue. How many jobs can you create? Our investment in infrastructure will also create jobs. When you're building roads, you're building rail, you'll create jobs. Our investment in agriculture is creating jobs. Already we are increasing the production of rice and other crops. That is creating jobs. Apart from that, we also have the social investment program, which is creating jobs in the short term.
Now, is it not important you set a target for the sectors to have a key performance indicators? Like you look at the power, even though the federal government is claiming that it's generating 7,000 megawatts, the distribution flow still reflects largely that there's still a shortfall to that. And even at that 7,000 megawatts, it's still something that is very, very inadequate to drive this economy. So,
no, we do have targets for everything. For instance, by 2020, our minimum of deliverable power will be 10,000. That is 10 gigawatts. That is our minimum. That is our target. So we have targets
for 2018.
No, for 2020.
For 2020.
That is the life of the ERGP. So for every aspect, we have a target. We have a target for inflation to bring it down to single digits. We have a target for growth to take it up to 7%. So we have a target for every single sector.
Before we wind down this conversation, I want you to look at 2017 and what's your assessment of the budget implementation in terms of percentage?
Well, you recall that the Minister of Finance indicated that we have released well over 1.2 trillion and we're still releasing more. So the level of releases are very high compared to before we came in as a government. So we've really worked hard to get the level of releases up and to make sure critical infrastructure is funded.
So
make sure
could you give a percentage, a scorecard to that?
No, you can't until the budget is over. We're still operating the 2017 budget.
But we have a lot of complaint from the contractors saying that they've not been given mobilization fee. There are many cases of abandoned projects.
Unless you look at the particular project, you might not know why. The money might be there, but the procurement processes and so on. So unless you look at the particular, you might not know why.
So when do we expect that the budget will be passed?
I'm hoping very soon. In fact, I wish it was passed yesterday. So as soon as they can, the National Assembly at the meeting with the President, I believe they've indicated that they're working hard. So we look forward to that the budget will be passed soon.
Does it mean you've not been able to get a word of commitment from the National Assembly on the exact date that we should be expecting the budget to be passed?
I don't believe they've announced a date. I don't believe so.
Let me come in here. You said you were shocked that the MDAs are yet to submit their input for the budget.
No, I didn't say so. No, I didn't say so. It's National Assembly that said so. And I said any such report should come to us, and we will make sure that they do.
Are you willing to guide against this complacency on the part of this 70% MDAs that didn't submit their inputs?
I think that if, first of all, the National Assembly has the power to invite any MDA that they require at any time. If they have a problem with any MDA, they can get in touch, and I've indicated it with me, and I will make sure that the MDA goes.
No, I'm just concerned about looking at a situation where a reputation of these SQs could be forestalled once and for all.
Well, there isn't much that we can do about it. If the National Assembly has an issue with a particular MDA, you know, they should. 70%
is much.
If they have an issue, no, not with the MDAs. I think we're mixing things up.
Okay.
They never mentioned that the problem is MDAs. They said government-owned enterprises. They have different budgets. The MDAs are the budgets that the president submitted the budget with all the MDAs. They are supposed to go for a defense. If they are required, it's for National Assembly to invite them. An MDA cannot just wake up in the morning and tell the National Assembly, I've come to defend my budget. They can't. They are invited when required. If the National Assembly requires any MDA, they invite them on that issue. I believe that the National Assembly has given commitments that they are going to accelerate work, and I believe we should take them that they are going to accelerate work on it. And that is why I feel that soon these issues will be resolved.
Senator Udo-Udoma, the Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time from Channels Television. What's your take on the proposed budget? Is it a wedding draft or template for the economy? Send us your comments on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the show from Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.